Friends, I am Dr. Sujit Ghosh. Welcome to my channel, Dr. Ghosh Presents. Top 10 homeopathic remedies for worm infection or helminthiasis. What is helminthiasis or worm infection? Helminth, to be specific, soil transmitted helminths, mean parasitic worm that transmitted to humans through contaminated soil, causing a lot of disability and suffering, which otherwise are fully controllable and curable. Disease state caused by helminths is called helminthiasis. That is, helminthiasis is a disease caused by worms. What are the most common types of helminths in the world? Number one, Ascaris lumbricoides. In short, it is called Ascaris or roundworm. About 115 crores persons affected all over the world. Number two, whipworm or Trichuris trichuria. About 82 crore persons are affected. Number three, hookworm, Ankylostoma duodenale and Necator americanus. Two types, both are called hookworm. About 62 crore persons affected. On the right hand side, see, first one is the image or picture of Ascaris. This is female type, this is male type. Whipworm also, this is male type, this is female type. Hookworm, this is female type, male type. Note the most peculiar thing in the insects world or animals of lower stature, females are always stronger and greater in size. This is female, this is female, this is female. This is the peculiarity in the this type of lower level worm level actually body stature. What is the life cycle of Ascaris? How does the Ascaris spread infection? See, from here I will just have collected this particular pamphlet from internet, and I will use this to make you understand the life cycle. See, number one, infective eggs are swallowed. Infective eggs means eggs of this particular worm. Now, how this egg comes, it will be explained slightly later. This is swallowed means this comes with touch in the hand and somehow it goes into the mouth. Number two, eggs reach in the small intestine. From mouth, it comes to small intestine. Small intestine means here. It is a small intestine. Larvae, LT means actually some level of this development. Larvae migrate to hepatic portal through intestinal wall. From here, intestinal wall, it moves to hepatic portal. Hepatic portal means liver. You know, all our essential things in the food are absorbed in the portal system and goes to liver. Here also this particular larvae moves to through this portal system to liver. Larvae enters lung. Now you can ask how it reaches lung. What happens actually when it reaches this intestine, from intestine to liver, from liver the whole thing, there are two tubes, you know, one is air tube, another is food tube, that is esophagus and trachea. Now when the food, this particular larva reaches in the liver, from there it goes up along the esophagus to throat. From throat, I mean, there are two pipes, opening of the two pipes. From throat pipe, that is from esophagus, it goes down in the windpipe. Windpipe means the lung, and during that period the patient feels itching, cough, etc. So many symptoms, but he or she does doesn't understand why it is happening. It is happening because that larvae are moving from this tube of going food, that is esophagus, from esophagus to trachea. So now it entered the lungs. Since it is in the air tube, from air tube it goes to lung, and alveolar spaces causing cough. Cough. That cough is prepared here. I have already mentioned that cough will be prepared when this will be transferring. Now I have coughed up larvae are swallowed. Again, that coughed up larvae are swallowed. Larvae reach small intestine. Note how things happens step by step. From hand it goes to mouth. From mouth it goes to intestine. Intestine to portal system. Portal system to again lung. Lung again these are coughed up and swallowed. Again go to small intestine. It's second time. This is the second time. And here it matures. That DPI means actually this is the sizes. To that scene, second time mature and adult worms lay eggs in the intestine. Then these eggs, the last stage, these eggs are passed in the feces, that is stool, and embryonate, becoming infective in a few weeks, and it stays on the soil. It stays on the soil. From that soil, it again goes to this, from hand to mouth, and the whole cycle goes on. This is Ascaris cycle. Cycle of worms are more or less same. Now, what is ascariasis? Ascariasis is this phenomena, the whole of this phenomena, how ascaris affects the person. That is how the disease caused by ascaris, the process of creation of this disease is called ascariasis. These are two types of egg. Ascaris lumbricoides, this is fertilized eggs, this is unfertilized egg. There are, you see, in every species there is fertilization, that is mixing of male and female. Then only the egg gets this potentiality to become a new species. Otherwise, eggs are just matter. These are matter, these are not life. It will be life when the two particular thing will mix up with one another and the life will start. What are sign symptoms of ascaris? Ascariasis, that is ascaris infection. Vague abdominal pain, mild nausea and vomiting, severe abdominal pain, dry cough, uneasiness in throat, fatigue, vomiting, worm in vomitus or stool, or may come out of mouth. See, this ascaris, that is a roundworm, is coming out of the mouth of a child. What is the life cycle of the whipworm? How does the whipworm spread infection? What is trichuriasis? Life cycle of whipworm. This is a direct life cycle. Adult whipworms are found in large intestine, usually in ileocecal area. Ileocecal means ileum and cecum. You know the point where the ileum mates with the cecum. That is ileocecal. There, the adult worms are found. Now, how they reach there? We will know this if you read complete. They mate and the eggs leave the body in feces. That is from ileocecal region. The ileocecal region, there are so many worms. They mate means they are male female mate and leave eggs in the body. They must embryonate before they are infective, which takes about 3 weeks. Infective eggs are ingested from eating contaminated soil. Eating contaminated soil means eating foods from contaminated soil. We cannot directly eat contaminated soil. Anyway, infective eggs are ingested. So from contaminated soil, the contaminated soil means soil contaminated with the larvae of this type of worms, it comes to hands and infection goes to in our body. Upon ingestion is taken into the system of, taking food, that is alimentary canal. Upon ingestion, upon taking it into the alimentary canal, the larvae hatch and penetrate small intestine to mature. They eventually migrate to large intestine and complete maturation in 3 months. That is, in large intestine, where from the feces or stool are expelled, there they remain, and this adult can live there for years and deposit thousands of eggs per day. From this stool, this step comes. Adult whipworms are found in large intestine, usually in the vesical area. They must embryonate before infective, which takes about 3 minutes. Infective eggs are ingested. These infective eggs are actually left with stool, and the stool contaminated the soil. The hand touches the soil. From hand, it goes in our system. This is the life cycle of whipworm. More or less, whipworm and the Ascaris types are almost same. But the last one which is coming, hookworm, that is completely separate thing. Please note. What are signs symptoms of trichuriasis? Frequent painful bowel movement, stool containing blood, mucus, water, rectal prolapse, dry cough, uneasiness in throat. Children may grow anemic, growth becomes stunted. What is the life cycle of hookworm? How does the hookworm spread infection? What is ankylostomiasis? Life cycle of hookworm. Step 1. Larvae hatch and develop in soil. The same thing. Everywhere the larvae is there in the soil. But here, larvae migrate up to grass. From soil it comes to grass. Larvae penetrate the skin, causing ground itch and enter bloodstream. Direct entrance. You need not take into the mouth it. This larvae, the hookworm larvae, directly penetrate the skin of the hand or skin of the feet to enter into the bloodstream. You need not touch your hand to your mouth. Not necessary. This is separate. Hookworm is approach of hookworm is much more devastating than other two. Larvae enter into the lung. Since larvae penetrate the skin, causing ground itch. These are the state of feet after hookworm infection. Note how the feet is. See, there are so many bleeding from. This is the path of their entrance. This penetrates skin, enters into the blood. This is the hookworm infection. This is a positive sign of hookworm infection. From this thing, larvae penetrate skin, ground itch, that is caused by itching. They penetrate the skin, so itching is caused. Enter into the bloodstream. Larvae enter the lung. Since it is in the bloodstream, the whole system is open too. The whole system open. So now it can enter into the lung no matter. An alveolar spaces causing cough. Then coughed up larvae are swallowed. Now from lung it comes to the alimentary canal. Coughed up, swallowed. Larvae reach small intestine, mature, start feeding. Eggs are passed in the feces. That is in the stool. That is from stool. The larvae are in the soil. From soil it goes to grass. From grass again it goes either feet or hand into the bloodstream. Hookworm infection, mind this, the hookworm technique of hookworm infection or the mode is different from those two earlier. Ankylostomiasis is the process. This process is called ankylostomiasis. This process of hookworm spread, infection and their life cycle. Their technique, the hookworm infection technique is completely different from that of earlier two. What are signs symptoms of ankylostomiasis, that is hookworm infection? Abdominal pain, diarrhea, loss of appetite, loss of weight, fatigue, anemia, stool containing blood, water, mucus, rectal prolapse, physical and cognitive growth of children may be affected. But here there's the simple picture, of male-female type of hookworm, and this is a particular tribe which as a group was affected with hookworm. their faces and body is not precisely visible, but you can check, you can see that there is a type of particular affection in all of their faces and bodies. That is peculiar of this hookworm infection. How to prevent worm infection? Avoid touching soil contaminated with human or feces of pigs, because you see there are so many instances where from human or human feces or feces of pigs, they actually contains the embryonated eggs of these worms from where it enters into our body. So everyone should avoid touching this type of soil. Always wash hands with soap and water after working in soil and before handling food. Same thing. Wash, peel, cook vegetables thoroughly. When you cook the vegetables thoroughly, the high temperature and long-standing heat kills the larvae, if there is any. If the same was grown out of soil fertilized with human fecal matter. Actually, not only this, the particular vegetables comes out of this type of soil fertilized with human fecal matter. Any vegetables should be treated like this. Wash, peel, cook thoroughly. Always avoid skin contact with this type of soil. That is important. This type of soil, you must avoid this. Never walk barefooted on skin. Simply barefooted on skin, because the hookworm infection is so severe and it is directly requires this barefoot. You know, I have already explained this thing. So you have to avoid this barefoot. Finally, deworming by modern allopathic remedies is necessary when there is gross infestation with worm. We have to admit it, mind it. It is required. You may be homeopathic physician, you may be a physician of tissue salt therapy, but mind it, when there is gross infestation, the whole system is fully attacked with these types of worms, then deworming by modern allopathic remedies is necessary, and we have to admit it. This is important. We must admit this thing. Yes, if you see that person is like this, you can also suggest you please consult an modern allopathic medicines specialist. He will give you medicine, because sometimes our medicines are fine. This fine medicine may not work in this type of gross infestation with worm. Maybe, but many things. See, there are medicines, particularly sulfur. Sulfur is one of the most important remedies here that works very nicely. But in case of gross infestation, means when there is the whole system is filled up with these worms, then this deworming is important. Now we are coming to remedies. Senna for worm infection. Use 6, 30 to 100 depending on situation. Pricking of nose, the symptoms. Pricking of nose, grinding of teeth, canine hunger, fiery red tongue, starting when asleep, children cry out in sleep, hiccough, milky urine, children very much irritable, rough, blackish ring around eyes. These are the symptoms for selection of Senna. Stomach for worm infection. Stool hard, dry, knotted. Complete stool seldom comes out. That is, stool is broken. Stool is broken from the anus. It can be used for all 3 types of helminths. Stannum mate is this is a metallic medicine. All metals are highly powerful medicines. So stannum mate, argentum mate, aurum mate, they are very, very powerful medicines. So this can be used for all 3 types of helminths. Use 3 hourly. Spigelia, for worms, spigelia. Use low potency, that is 3 hourly. Pinworms, stool hard like stool of sheep. Worms comes out with stool. Creeping sensation in anus. This is a common thing. Whenever there is worms, there will be some creeping sensation in the anus, provided it is small type. Big type, it may not be there, but small type, it is always there will be creeping sensation. Sulfur for worm infection. Colic resulting from worm. No remedies proved efficacious or give complete result. Use 36 hourly. Teucrium maramverum. MV means verum verum. Worm like thread, intolerable uneasiness at anus. Since it is thread worm, nerves excited, loss of sleep, vertigo. Use 2x 3 hourly. Santonine for worm infection. Pinworms or tapeworms. Abdominal colic. Use 1x trituration. This is available in trituration, that is powder form. Calcareous carb for worm infection. For children with worm diathesis, use 30. Pot-bellied. Bone thin, weak. Children having craving for indigestible things like chalk, dry mud, etc. These are characteristic of calcareous patients. Ratanhia for worm infection. Ascarides with intolerable pruritus ani. Pruritus ani means itching in the anus. Ignatia for worm infection. Itching at anus from pinworm. Convulsion with loss of consciousness. Temporary inability to speak. Silesia for worm infection. Bloody stool, hard stool, dry, knotted. Worm colic with yellow hands and blue nails. Worm colic means colic. Colic, you know, the pain, the spasmodic pain generally created in the abdominal portion. Now here the colic is created by worm infection. China for worm infection. Nocturnal pain after eating. Pyrosis. Pyrosis means water, rising of water in the throat, that is acidity. Fullness of abdomen with pressure in stomach and retching. All pervading weakness. On the right hand side, I have given standard instruction. Use low potency always 3 to 30 in all cases with frequent doses, that is maybe 3 hourly, 4 hourly, 6 hourly. Terminate treatment with sulfur 200 or 1 m or more, because you see, you may use Ratania, you may use Ignatia, no matter. You may use China, any medicine, but you must close the treatment with high potency of sulfur so that the particular disease doesn't return. Sulfur does that. It stops recurring of infection again and again. Then you have to, depending on season, you have to go 200, 1 m or maybe 10 m, anything. With this, the video ends. Thanks for listening, viewing. If you got any problem, please write down in the comment section. I would certainly attend.